The mass mugging of Chinese tourists aboard their bus near Paris made headlines worldwide recently. Today's Focus report looks at the alarming rise of petty criminals who are active around the French capital. Asian tourists are often preyed upon because they tend to carry valuables and large amounts of cash. But it's also French nationals of Asian origin who are also targeted. The Chinese community took to the streets when a shopkeeper was beaten to death in recent weeks. They're now calling for better police protection.
This is one of the many housing projects in La Courneuve, just north of Paris. In this apartment block, most of the residents are of Asian descent. Citizens like Miss Joëlle Hui. She, like many others in this area, has been violently attacked in the street and robbed of her personal belongings.
They
snuck up from behind and punched me in the back of the head. I'm still young, so I stumbled but didn't fall down. But they did steal my smartphone, and just before running away, they punched me again.
The level of violence aimed at this community reached alarming proportions on July 13th, the eve of France's Bastille Day. As seen on this amateur footage, a group of young thugs from a nearby project gathered at the foot of the building, shooting fireworks at residents. The police intervened, but a few hours later, the violent group came back.
They returned with weapons and wounded 4 people, crippling their legs. 2 other neighbors were seriously injured. This man is one of my neighbors. He's been living here for a long time. He had to spend 2 weeks at the hospital.
Faced with this relentless violence, neighbors have now begun patrolling around the block every evening.
We try to remain vigilant, to always be present and to keep our eyes open, so that our elder neighbors and their grandchildren can still play outside safely.
A neighborhood watch, in addition to the private security guards already patrolling the building and parking lots every day, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
They also come here during the day to break into cars.
The security guard has tried to establish dialogue with the aggressive youngsters.
They say it up front, we're here to rob Asians.
Is that what they tell you?
Yes, sometimes we talk to them, telling them to stop this nonsense, but they always reply very clearly that Chinese people have a lot of money. That's why they attack them, to get their money.
Recently, one of these numerous muggings turned deadly for the victim. On August 7, Shaolin Zhang, a local tailor of Chinese descent, was attacked in broad daylight and beaten senseless. He died after 5 days in a coma, leaving behind a son and a sister who still cannot comprehend the reasons for such violence.
I don't understand. He didn't carry any money. Why did they beat him to death? We're all humans, we're like anyone else. The only difference maybe is that hard work is of the greatest importance in our eyes. We wake up early, finish work late, yet, despite this, our lives and security are not guaranteed.
In the neighboring city of Aubervilliers, this is the so-called Golden Triangle of Chinese wholesalers. All day long, trucks are loaded and unloaded. But despite the ongoing crime wave, to stop working is out of the question. After a day's work, it's time for this shopkeeper to drive back home, but not before taking a long detour. It's become a daily routine, ever since he was followed a few times too many by the same vehicle.
I accelerated and entered the ring road on the left lane. But as I realized I was being followed, I swerved back to the right and took the first exit I saw to shake them off.
Nervous looks in the rear-view mirror, always on alert. That's become the daily reality for these workers.
We're being attacked because of the anti-Asian racism that has been gaining ground around here for the past 5 to 10 years. It's based on the idea that members of our community carry much more cash than your average shopkeeper.
In the last 7 months, there have been over 105 cases of violent mugging aimed at Asians, and that's just for the city of Aubervilliers. Meanwhile, France's Interior Ministry is promising more police, more video surveillance.
That was today's Focus report by Patrick Lovett and our colleagues at France 2 Television.